It's Monday morning. I wake up with a fire under me and a head full of rest. I drink my coffee and then eagerly rush to my bathroom to weigh myself on my smart scale. I step on it and I'm surprised to be a couple pounds lighter in just a few days. Happy and motivated, I declare to myself to make a change. I screenshot my health metrics on my phone and then review them. My body fat percentage is what stands out to me the most. The value reads out to me 15.6%. Part of me is happy that I've already lost 0.4% over the last couple days. Another part of me knows that I can do better. I scroll back a couple years to my previous performance and look at the values of 13.1% just a couple years ago. This is a different time in my life. I was working out for 2 hours a day for 6 days a week. I was eating over 3,000 calories a day, yet I was still leaner than I am now. Since then, I've scaled back my commitment to the gym and have allowed more time in my life for my relationships and my creative pursuits. Don't get me wrong, I still go hard at the gym. Only now I typically go for an hour to 15 minutes and really only go 4 times a week. I'm still pretty content with this lifting schedule. I think my problem is just my relationship with food. It's always been a hassle for me. I love to put anything that is tasty and savory right down the gullet. Things like pizza, burgers, chocolate chip cookies, carrot cake, cannoli scones, and anything else that is sweet and savory. For the past couple of years, as a means to reward myself and ease in the stress of some recent life changes, I would always turn to food. Life changes like switching jobs, moving cities, entering into a new relationship, and most recently starting a business. My main excuse or lie that I tell myself is that my success and discipline in these other areas of my life is what has earned me a right to eat and indulge in the manner that I have. But I know it's a load of bullshit. I binge because there was once a time I had very little to eat, and there's this survivalist aspect of me that wants to run away from negative feelings brought on by a sense of hunger. That is what I am constantly battling, and I know the only way that I can counteract my brain's tendency to avoid and deflect these feelings is through the gamification of a healthy habit. This healthy habit is eating healthy. And so what do I mean by eating healthy? Yes, I mean eating strawberries, eating fruit, eating vegetables, eating tons of protein, lean protein like white fish, chicken, ground turkey. Sometimes I will have a little bit of red meat on occasion, and just trying to limit pizza and alcohol. But I also want to take it a step further. Like I have explained in Monday's video, I've made it an effort to track my total daily caloric consumption, compare that with the amount of calories I'm burning to really see how this thermogenesis process is working. I generally understand how to put together a meal plan with macronutrients and all that stuff, and I have a really good basis. I just haven't done it in a while, and I've been kind of just eyeballing it, and I've never really put numbers to paper in a really long time. So as a part of these metric of the month videos, I'm doing that. And so yes, it's all fine and dandy to have this daily caloric consumption value, know how many calories you're burning by adding your BMR to your daily calorie burning total. But then what's the point? How do you determine a direction to move towards, right? And that was kind of where the inspiration came on when I stepped on the scale on Monday, and that little monologue I started off this video with. I looked at that body fat percentage metric of 15.6%, and that just stuck out to me as a thing I needed to improve. And then knowing what I know is that I set a 1% goal. So on Monday, I weighed 15.6% body fat. I picked an arbitrary number, 1%, because action is always better than inaction, right? 1%. And then I know if I am roughly 200 pounds, I'm between 205, 210 consistently recently. Do 200, or I do 1% of 200, which is 2 pounds, times the amount of calories that you would have to burn that amount of poundage. So 2 pounds times the rough estimate of 3,500 calories per pound comes out to be, it's 7,000 calories, so a little more because I'm a little over 200 pounds. And so you then would take the amount of calories that you need to burn in excess of your maintenance, and then divide it over the timeline, and then that's how you would get the daily amount of calories that you need to burn in order to reach your goal in that time. So for me, I made a commitment to try my best to lose a percent of body fat in 25 days, starting on Monday. And so when I did the math out, 7,000 divided by, I think it's like 25 days, ends up coming around to 300 calories per day. So all I have to do is calculate my total daily energy expenditure, calculate my total daily calories consumed, and as long as I consume 300 calories less than I am burning, by March 31st, I should be able to share a screenshot of my smart scale measurements, and it should show that my body fat is 14.6%. And that's it. Or is it? No, it's not. The title of this video was my 5-step plan on getting jacked. It's 6 minutes in, and still no sign of it. Have I bamboozled you? No. I've just been taking my time. So, without further ado, let's dive into this 5-step plan of mine. Well, before we can even start with step 1, there's a assumed step 0. And this step is making the commitment to better your health. Action is always better than inaction, and a great way to inspire action is through a commitment. So make that commitment to lose a couple pounds and move on to step 1. Step 1 of getting jacked is cultivating the habit of tracking your health measurements. Even if it's something as simple as just your weight. If you get in the habit of taking that every morning, I assure you over a month, you at least will have a baseline, and most likely, because you have been more cognizant of this underlying value in your life, you will improve upon it. It's just facts. So get in the habit of tracking your health data. So after that, after step 1, once you take the time, maybe it's a couple weeks, couple days, depending on how advanced you are, you can then move on to step 2. Set an arbitrary goal for yourself. Whether it's a couple pounds, a percent of body fat, put on 5 pounds of lean muscle mass. Set an arbitrary goal, and then after the fact, you will then be forced to do all the math to actually fulfill your promise. Because I assure you, you're going to do it, you're going to set this goal, and then if you don't understand the concepts of thermogenesis, you're going to flail, you're going to squander about, and you're going to end up gaining 5 pounds. You're not going to put on those 5 pounds of muscle mass that you've always wanted to. So the logical next step, step 3, get over yourself, learn thermogenesis, and calculate your own personal thermogenesis values. So yeah, I mean, I've pretty much already been cultivating that knowledge for you without you even knowing it. Total daily energy expenditure, daily calories consumed, it all bundles up into this system in your body that decides to burn fat. You just really need to know the ingress, how much you eat, and the egress, how much you burn, right? And so once you're able to calculate those values and apply that to a goal, like how I did, where I calculated out that if I wanted to lose 2 pounds of fat, I would have to burn in excess of my maintenance 300 calories a day, right? You would do the same sort of measurements for your situation. Your BMR might be different. Your daily caloric burning might be different. Depending on how advanced or how beginner you are. Like, everybody is different. So to think that there's some uniform way of solving this is ludicrous, right? So calculate these thermogenesis factors for yourself, and then after that, you can then move on to step 4, which is check in weekly with your performance to review, make any set of new commitments so that you can ultimately achieve this fitness goal. Weekly is a great time. Everyone has like a lazy Sunday. You just tune in that week, say, hey, I did 0.2%, I'm down, or I've lost 1.6 and there's 2 weeks left. Doing so every week, it's a nice lump of time to really see how you performed, and then enough time to review your behavior and changes. So step 4, you check in with yourself weekly, iterate, and then ultimately step 5, Greek god status, baby. You have, or just losing a little bit of weight, but the whole goal is that this process, I have probably unknowingly did this each time since I started becoming the health nut that I have been since 2020. With that big scare in COVID, was really worried about my own mortality, seeing everything that was happening. And so since then, I've been really cognizant of all of this and the underlying way of things work, how I've had to cut out certain foods in my life. And so I think laying it out like this is a really repeatable process for whether you're just getting started and you want to just lose a couple of pounds, or if you're really advanced and you want to put on some muscle mass. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you don't, oh well, I'm tired of recording. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.